After Elder Lan left, Su Yang went back inside his room to cultivate. However, it wasn't long before a group of people approached his house with irritated expressions on their faces, clearly here to cause trouble. Su Yang, get your ass out here right this instant. You have been hiding inside that house like a turtle in his shell while being protected by girls for the past few days, but now that you've stabbed yourself in the foot, who will stop us from approaching you? Su Yang, I will fucking kill you for touching my girl. Ever since Su Yang opened up his massage parlor, he has seen more than 500 girls. However, it was obvious that the majority of these girls, if not all, already has a partner within the sect. While Su Yang did not touch them vulgarly in any way, the way that girls acted afterward raised many suspicions within their partner's heart. And despite the girls reassuring their partners many times that Su Yang only gave them a normal massage, who in their right mind would believe that a mere massage could make them act like dogs in heat? A few moments later, the door opened, and Su Yang calmly walked outside with a nonchalant expression. He glanced at the dozen angry men standing before him, like a group of angry protesters, and said, I apologize, but I do not touch men. His words further increased the crowd's anger. Who the fuck said that we are here to enjoy your service? How dare you touch my girl? Because of you, she has been refusing to cultivate with me, as of lately. Su Yang, what did you do to my Zaire? After meeting you, she dared to tell me that I am not enough to satisfy her. Hearing the crowd's complaints, Su Yang couldn't help but chuckle. So, you all came here to blame another man for your inability to satisfy your own girl, and you call yourselves a man? How laughable. What did you say? You are courting death, Su Yang. Su Yang shrugged at their anger, and said, it is normal for male disciples to cultivate with more than one female disciple at a time, and vice versa. So why are you all so upset that they are seeing another man besides yourself? The fact that you cannot satisfy your partners means that you are no longer useful to them. No matter how talented you are or how vigorous your yang qi is, if your partner does not find pleasure in cultivating with you, then you are worthless. Su Yang's harsh words struck pain into the heart of everybody there. It felt to them as though their heart was pierced by a sharp sword. While it was normal for disciples to have more than one cultivating partner at a time as it is more convenient and efficient than having just one, nobody there wanted to admit that Su Yang, who was known for being useless and never considered a threat to anyone, was better at pleasing their partners than them. In a sect where dual cultivation is the norm, losing your woman to another man is far worse than death. Even more so if the girl left because the other man was doing a better job at pleasing them. Furthermore, admitting defeat meant that you are accepting the fact that you are inferior to another man, a man's worst nightmare. Su Yang, I want a death match. Me, too. The crowd was so irritated and speechless that they began talking about fighting a death match, as that was the only thing they could think of that would lessen the shame and embarrassment that have faced today. HMPH. Besides raw strength, what else can you all say with confidence that you are superior when in front of me? Su Yang coldly snorted and continued, a bunch of kids that cannot even satisfy their own woman dares to approach my doorstep and bark like dogs. What a bunch of fools. When it comes to dealing with women, Su Yang would turn into a kind prince no matter the situation. However, when he has to deal with men, annoying ones at that, he would turn into the devil and consume their confidence as a man, and force them to their knees. Even in his previous life, Su Yang was the bane of all men, an existence that would force the males into experiencing anxiety, as they fear that Su Yang would snatch their women with a mere glance. You do not dare to fight me, and you call yourself a man. If your techniques do not work in the battlefield, then you are just as worthless. Su Yang smiled at their words, and said, 100 premium points, and I will enter the stage for a death match. What? You want us to pay you to fight? How shameless. Su Yang shrugged, I am a busy man. If you want to waste my time, then you need to pay up. Just like your partners did when they approached me for pleasure instead of you, he said with a grin, causing the crowd to explode in anger. Su Yang, I will fucking kill you today. 100 premium points it is. Fight me to death right now. Fuck, I will pay you 150 premium points to fight me first. 200. Su Yang accepted the highest offer of 250 premium points with a smile and nodded, very well. Then let us make a request to the sect and schedule our right now. I want to fight right now. Su Yang shook his head and said, I have already been warned once by a sect elder. Before we step onto the stage, we must get permission from the sect. Until then, our deathmatch will have to wait. What? But you have already accepted my payment. This and that are two different things. Su Yang only smiled with a calm expression at the raging scene. Because the sect forbids any fighting amongst disciples unless officially approved by the sect, he wasn't worried that they might attack him out of nowhere. However, even if they did, he was confident in his own abilities. As someone with countless same experience in his previous life, Su Yang was not dumb enough to offend others without having absolute confidence in his victory. With his current abilities and resources, he was confident that he could stay safe even if every outer court disciple within the sect knocked on his door. Inside the Morningwood Pagoda, where most of the sect's administration are dealt with, Su Yang and a group of outer court disciples stood in front of an old man, who was known as Elder Joe, one of the many elders within the outer court that deals with disputes between disciples. Let me get this straight. You, outer court disciple Su Yang, would like to have a death match with outer court disciple Dai Jing? The last time I checked, you are a mere elementary realm at the 3rd level, and you agreed to fight someone at the 5th level of the elementary realm. Are you stupid or are you crazy? Elder Joe looked at Su Yang with an odd expression. In this world, unless one is a cultivation genius, or happen to have a powerful weapon, they would never be able to beat another with a higher cultivation base, let alone 2 whole levels. And in Elder Zhao's eyes, Su Yang was only a mere outer court disciple with some talent in his hand techniques. Definitely not a cultivation genius. You are neither a genius nor should you have any weapon powerful enough to suppress someone 2 levels above you, yet you still dare to fight him. Are you courting death? Elder Joe, this is his choice, not mine. I did not force him to fight me. It was something he accepted with a smile on his face. Dai Jing, the one who had the highest bid, and the one who will be fighting Su Yang first, was worried that Su Yang may cowered away from fighting him at this rate. Su Yang remained calm despite Elder Zhao's harsh words, and he said with a smile, Elder Joe is right. I am neither a cultivation genius, nor do I have any powerful weapon. However, as a man, would you back out from a fight with your pride on the line just because you are facing someone stronger than yourself? His words caused Elder Joe to lift his brows, and to everybody's surprise, he answered, no, I would not. Right, then allow me to fight him. Elder Joe turned silent to ponder for a moment, and he said a few seconds later, this is a deathmatch with your life at risk, not some spar where you get away with only minor injuries. Once you step onto that stage, neither of you are allowed to leave until only one remains in this world without needing to think. Su Yang nodded. While we are at it, we might as well schedule everyone here a death match with me, he said nonchalantly, dumbfounding everybody there. What did you just say? You want a death match with everyone here? Elder Joe looked at the dozen outer court disciples with a bewildered expression. That's why they followed, right? Su Yang looked at the dazed crowd with a smile. Su Yang, how arrogant of you to think that you will get the chance to fight another person before our death match even started. Are you saying that you are absolutely confident in your victory? Dai Jing exploded into a rage after hearing Su Yang's words. Feeling as though he had his face stomped by Su Yang without mercy, Su Yang glanced at his red face that was bulging with veins and said with a surprised look, why else would I fight you? To die? Are you stupid? Su Yang. Just as Dai Jing was a second away from attacking Su Yang out of anger, Elder Joe coughed once, instantly forcing Dai Jing to halt his steps. Where do you think you are, disciple Dai Jing? Elder Zhao's narrowed gaze caused Dai Jing to freeze, seemingly petrified by his dangerous gaze. This disciple apologizes to Elder Joe for overstepping his boundaries. Dai Jing quickly apologized with a deep bow. Elder Joe sighed and said, since the 2 of you want to fight so badly, I shall accept your wish, and personally oversee this death match myself. Dai Jing showed a beaming smile, and bowed again. Thank you, Elder Joe, for giving this disciple a chance to repay his debts. Su Yang snorted coldly at how Dai Jing truly believes that he would lose to him. He originally didn't plan to dirty his hands with blood so soon after his reincarnation, especially when he still hasn't obtained the pure young flower. However, Su-young knew very well that if he ignored these people today that they will surely come to bother him again in the future, hence why he decided to clean up the trash early so he wouldn't have to worry about it later. When do you want this deathmatch to take place? Elder Joe asked. As soon as possible, Daijing said as he stared at Su-young with a menacing look. Then how about right now? I happen to be free until right now. This disciple will greatly appreciate that. Disciple Su-young. Elder Joe looked at him for confirmation. Su-young nodded and said, I have no problem doing it now. Very well. Then let us head to the stage. Elder Joe began walking first and led the way. Hey look, it's an official deathmatch. What? Who's fighting? The disciples that happened to be around the arena quickly approached the stage when they noticed Su-young and Daijing climbing the steps. Elder Joe is overseeing this deathmatch, so it really is official. That's Daijing. Who is he fighting? That Su-young. Su-young is having another deathmatch just a week after his last one. The disciples were clearly excited to witness this fight, especially after hearing rumors of Su-young defeating Yang Ming, who was at the 6th level of elementary realm. Are the two of you ready? Elder Joe asked the two on the stage. Ready. Daijing tightly held the sword in his grasp. His breathing patterns changed. Su-young played around with the steel sword in his hands. It was a borrowed weapon just for this fight. Before we start, I'd like to tell you a love story between a renowned general and a rogue cultivator, he said in a nonchalant manner, dumbfounding everybody there. A love story between a general and a rogue cultivator. What the hell is going on? Since when did this deathmatch become a place for storytelling? What the fuck are you talking about? Hurry up and fight me, Daijing said in an irritated and impatient tone, his teething itching just to see Su-young's blood. However, Su-young ignored him and continued to speak with a calm expression on his face. During the chaotic era, when wars are considered a common sight, there existed a peerlessly beautiful woman who happened to be a general for some powerful army. Her beauty was said to be devastating enough to destroy continents, and her talent with the sword unrivaled.